אילו הוציאנו ממצרים, הוציאנו ממצרים, דיינו, 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 דיינו. אילו נתן לנו את השבת, נתן לנו את השבת, דיינו. אילו נתן לנו את התורה, נתן לנו את התורה, דיינו, 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 דיינו.
Well, thank you very much, Andy, for starting us off with a beautiful song of Dayenu. And I have a different version of it. It goes like, die, die, Corona, die, die, Corona, die, die, Corona, we are sick of you. So welcome everyone to our Shabbat celebration. It's great to be here with Cantorial spiritual leader, Andy Susman. It's really a great thrill for me to be working with someone who not only is very musical, but is also very knowledgeable and spiritual. We're lucky to have him. I also want to thank Sharon Leibovitz for an amazing job that she does as technical director and putting all of this together and giving us our marching orders. You might not realize it, but she's in our heads all the time telling us what we should be doing and making sure that everything is running along smoothly. Here at L'Dor Va-Dor, we believe in something that's rather unusual in the world today. It's a rational approach to religion, an approach to religion that actually makes sense, that conforms with reality, and that incorporates the finest, greatest revelations of humanity as perceived through science and as perceived through some of the great religious, spiritual teachers of humanity. If we could unite these two great forms of revelation, we would do very, very well. In Israel right now, sadly, there is fighting. The three holidays of the Western religions converge for the first time in quite a while. Ramadan and Easter and Passover all occur this month. You would think that religions which are designed to spread love and joy and peace would be the greatest source of peace among people, and from these religions would emanate peace. No, that's not what's happening. In Israel today, you see fighting among the religions, and the religions have often caused warfare. That is because all too often religion is not rational, it's irrational. And they're fighting over whose imaginary father in the sky is the best. How sad and how tragic that we're killing each other over ancient literature. At L'Dor Va-Dor, we believe that there is a power, a creative power at work in the universe that unites all, that is within all, that transcends all. And this power is urging us to unity, not disharmony, building bridges of understanding, not walls of separation. It's a pleasure and a thrill for me to be with a congregation that embraces such a view and believes that religion should be our greatest source of peace and understanding among people. Before we start, I just want to share one other thing. As many of you know, my mother passed away recently. I have her picture and with my dad behind me to celebrate their life. Many people have expressed condolences, and it always seems a little weird to me to hear condolences, because when I think of my mom, I'm just filled with love and joy and gratitude. And my mom was a great tennis player. We used to play tournaments together. We won a fair amount of tournaments in our day over at the Newfield Swim Club in Stamford, Connecticut. And to me, it's kind of like, imagine you have a tennis player and they won a lot of tournaments and they had a great career, but then they retired. And upon retirement, everybody says, oh, we express our condolences. You must be so sad. We're so, heartbroken about this. And I appreciate all of the sentiments and all the love and all the support that's been coming my way. But the way I view it, it's like, I'm so thrilled that my mom had a great run. She lived a very, very long life, a very fulfilling life. Couldn't have done more, in my opinion, to spread love and joy and incredible music. And I feel just so blessed. And so please share with me also your joy and your happiness and my good fortune for having an incredible mom and dad. I feel like I'm the luckiest person in the world. My Hebrew name is Baruch, blessed, and I do feel blessed. So thank you for indulging me. I hope I didn't now send the service a little too long. I might have to cut back somewhere else, but I just wanted to share those comments. And now we're going to continue with Andy singing Ma Tovu, how goodly are your tents.
הטוב אוהלך יעקב משכנותיך ישראל מה טוב אוהלך יעקב משכנותיך ישראל.
In order to celebrate the sweetness of Shabbat, the joy of Shabbat and the joy of Pesach, we continue with the Kiddush. I just want to tell you something about Stanley. The first recollection I have of meeting Stanley, he was disagreeing with me about something. He took issue with something I said, but he disagreed so agreeably. I thought, this guy must be a really friendly, wonderful person. He's not afraid to share what he thinks. He thinks differently, but he doesn't get upset. He's joyous in sharing a different point of view. Imagine that. What an incredible lesson for our world and for our people, the Jewish people. If we could all disagree agreeably and be free to share whatever thought we want and not feel we have to have uniformity, but rather unity. And let's have community without conformity. So it's my pleasure to have Stanley joining us and leading us in the Kiddush. Take it away.
Thank you, Rabbi. And I salute Elaine and Sam Silver. They were wonderful people.
Thank you.
And it's my honor to offer the Kiddush this morning for Shabbat and Passover. Almost all Jewish ceremonies and celebrations involve wine, and Shabbat is no exception. Ritual doesn't exist for the sake of itself. It exists to accomplish something. We could imagine that our sages simply decided to sweeten celebrations from births to weddings with wine. However, the wine itself serves as a switch. It sets the time apart and makes it special, holy, and unique. It's not about the wine itself, it's about what the wine has the power to do when we raise our glass with intention. That's the magic of Kiddush, from the Hebrew word for holy, our ability to demarcate time. To say that this Saturday morning, this exact moment, which has never occurred before and never will again, is special. This is the beauty of Kiddush. We raise our cup in thanksgiving and recite the blessing. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam, borei pri hagafen. Amen. Chag Pesach Sameach, everybody.
Sameach. Thanks a lot, Stanley. We're now going to continue with Halach Ma'anya. You may be interested in knowing that Halach Ma'anya is not Hebrew, it's Aramaic. You can tell it's Aramaic because it sounds a little like Hebrew, but it's a little different. I think many people know the word for bread in Hebrew is lechem, and so it's not unusual that the word for bread in Aramaic, lachma, sounds a little like lechem, but it's a little different. We now have a song about the bread of affliction, Halach Ma'anya.
Well, before I start singing, Shannon, if you go back for a second to the rabbi, bring a split screen again. Okay. Anyway, Rabbi's wearing a tie of matzah. And I just wanted to say, Rabbi, your tie is terrific. So,
Thank you.
The opening line goes like this. Halach ma'anya di achalu avhatana behara de Mitzrayim behara de Mitzrayim. This is the bread of affliction that our ancestors ate in the land of Egypt. All who are hungry, let them enter and eat. All who are in need, let them come and celebrate Pesach. Now we are here. Next year, may we be in the land of Eretz Yisrael. Now we are enslaved. Next year, may we be free. Halach ma'anya di achalu avhatana behara de Mitzrayim behara de Mitzrayim.
Thank you very much, Cantor Andy. We're going to now continue with some of the prayers, and Andy is correct. I do have my matzah tie on in order to show that time matzahs on. And also, I like to use this tie because it ties me to the past, to about 3,000 years ago, and across time and space. And the purpose of our Shabbat, of our Passover, and of the service is to connect with the past so that we can understand the present and help shape the future. When we engage in these prayers, it connects us with our past, but we also should use the wisdom of our past to understand what's going on today and to try to now begin the series of prayers and blessings, mostly which are just a series of thank yous with the Baruch Hu. Oh, I apologize. First, well, we had a responsive reading first. Let's do the responsive reading. I will read the regular type, and then you please join in with the bold. Welcome, Shabbat Shalom. Welcome to the palace, the invisible, sacred palace in time that our people have carried with us on all our journeys across the planet.
Once every 7 days, for over 3,000 years, we have left the blood, sweat, and tears of the work week and stepped into Shabbat, a vision of the world at peace. The door to the palace stands open.
And now we're going, to enter, you don't need Hebrew. There are no special qualifications, but you do need to know how to let go of the world of buying and building, of striving to impress and outdo others, of acquiring and achieving.
This letting go is sometimes hard at first, but soon comes naturally. Most people find Shabbat becomes the highlight, the heart of their week.
We now continue with the Baruch Hu.
Baruch Hu et Adonai HaMevorach. Baruch Adonai HaMevorach Le'olam Va'ed.
The Baruch Hu offers praise to the creative power that is in all and unites all and transcends all. And the Shema indicates the Jewish belief that all of the beautiful and varied forms of life and all the things we see in the universe, it all is interconnected. It's all part of one unit. And therefore, our goal should be unity and harmony and love for all living things. And we capture this in the Shema.
Shema Yisrael Adonai Eloheinu Adonai Echad Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Leolam Va'ed.
I do have to apologize to Sharon. I've been kind of preoccupied with a bunch of different things, including the Seders. And so I didn't review as carefully as I should have. I skipped over responsive reading. So Sharon, if you'd like to go back in time, which we're trying to do on Passover anyway, there we go. Let's read responsively. I guess we're going to read, I don't know, Sharon, how you want to do this. I guess I'll read and then Andy reads. I guess we could all try to read responsively. Maybe we could, why don't we give it a shot and see what happens? Or I'll let you figure that out, Sharon. You're the technical masters. But let's read responsively. As we bless the source of light, so we are blessed.
As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed.
And the blessings give us strength and makes our visions clear.
And the blessing gives us peace and the courage to dare.
As we bless the source of life, so we are blessed.
And as we bless the source of life, so we are blessed.
Okay, we continue. Cherish my words in your heart and soul. Wear them as proud reminders on your arm and on your forehead. We read responsibly.
Instill them in your children and be guided by them at home and in public night and day.
Write them on the doorposts and gates.
Then will your lives and your children's lives be as enduring on this good earth as the stars in the sky.
We continue with Mi Chamocha.
Mi Chamocha Ba'elim Adonai, Mi Chamocha Nehedar B'Kodesh, Nora Tehilot Osef Ele, Nora Tehilot Osef Ele.
Once again, responsive reading. I just want to share with everyone that we incorporate here at L'Dor Va-Dor the best of all religious traditions. So you'll hear things that seem that they come from an Orthodox point of view, conservative, Reform, Reconstructionist, Humanist, Jewish renewal. And sometimes we alter the words so that they conform with a rational view, and sometimes we leave them as is, understanding that our interpretation of these words may be a little different. After 400 years of servitude, our ancestors in Egypt believed their slavery would continue forever. Previous escapes all had ended in failure.
Then at the sea, something new happened. The waters parted, a doorway open to freedom.
A time comes in each of our lives when we stand again at the sea, trapped and frightened, enclosed by an army of dangers, depression, fear, addiction, hunger, anger, illness, loneliness, and shame.
Each of us is pursued by enemies, real and imagined, and the sea is the unknown, stretched out, forbidding before us.
Then our soul, like a bird, is escaped from the snare. The snare is broken, and we are escaped.
Adonai sifatai tiftach, ufi yagid tehilatecha. Baruch atah Adonai, Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu ve'imotenu, Elohei Avraham, Elohei Yitzchak ve'Elohei Yaakov, Elohei Sarah, Elohei Rivka, Elohei Rachel, ve'Elohei Leah, Ha'el Hagadol, Hagibor ve'Hanora, El Elyon, Gomel Chasadim Tovim, וקונה הכל, וזוכר חסדי אבות ואימהות, ומביא גאולה לבני בניהם, למען שמו באהבה, מלך עוזר ומושיע ומגן. ברוך אתה אדוני, מגן אברהם ועזרת שרה.
We have another responsive reading. Many people wonder, why do you do all these responsive readings? That's a trick that the rabbis use to make sure everybody's still awake. In generation after generation, we awaken again to the miracle of our lives.
To the wonders all around us, a fragrant twilight, dew glistening at dawn, the gift of a meal.
Kindness rains down. Our hopes are born and reborn.
We join our voice to the songs of the earth, piping bird and howling wolf, our hearts open with thanks. Modim anachnu lach, Modim anachnu lach. We give thanks to you, Adonai our God. Modim anachnu lach, she'atahu Adonai Eloheinu ve'Elohei avotenu le'olam va'ed. We are grateful for all that was, all that is, and all that will be.
The word modim is related to the word todah. It means to give thanks. The word todah is related to the word Yehudah, because Leah gave thanks when her son was born, so she called him Yehudah. And from Yehudah, we get Judaism, the religion based on Judah, one of the tribes. And so if you think about it, the word Jewish means to give thanks. To have an attitude of gratitude is what it means to be Jewish. And so we're going to spend a few moments in silent meditation, and we're going to take time to give thanks, to exercise the most important thing in Judaism, perhaps, of giving thanks. And as we give thanks for our blessings, we meditate on how can we repay this world and this universe that spawned us for the gift of life. How can we show our thanks in deeds that we can offer to make this world a better place? We spend a few moments in silent meditation. We hope that the following people will have a refuah shlema. Our sick list includes Michelle Bernstein, Robert Bluttinger, Huey Cohen, Bruce David, Teresa DeRoches, David Deitch, Bob Druce, Donna Field, Wendy Frank, Laura Gallagher, Richard Glass, Sherry Glass, Steve Adler Golden, Renee Golub, Arthur Hoffman, Linda Kennedy, Carol Kramer, Dr. Sudhir Nair, Linda Pruskin, Bernard Rosen, Fred Spieloff, Naomi Volan. And is there anybody else who would like to mention a name of someone who might be ailing? Okay, then we'll continue with the Mishabera.
Mishabera Avoteinu Makor Habracha Leimoteinu. May the source of strength who bless the ones before us help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say Amen. Misheberach Imoteinu Mekor Habracha Lavoteinu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say Amen.
We are going to continue with a song originally written by Shimon and Garfunkel, two Jewish musicians. I've made their song a little more Jewish. Are You Going to the Passover Seder, sung for us by Cantor Andy.
Are you going to the Passover Seder? Parsley, grain, horseradish, and wine. To celebrate freedom, nothing is greater. As we glimpse the divine, tell her to bake some unleavened bread. Parsley, egg, horseradish, and wine. Through the desert, the Hebrews were led. With hope and love, they sought to align. We dip in salt water to remember the tears of the poor and of the oppressed. We had been enslaved for 400 years, but finally with freedom our people was blessed. The Jews were forced to make their own bricks to remind us of their sweet charoshes. Pharaoh believed the plagues were just tricks performed in Egypt by a hero named Moses. Eternal life exists in the egg and is a symbol of nature's rebirth. Animal cruelty is punished by plague, that desecrates man and ravages earth. We celebrate Pesach in 2022 as we begin to emerge from our home. With vaccine, our hopes have come true. May the vaccine of love bring a world of shalom. At Pesach each year, each Jew does rejoice. We seek to end all tyrannical rule. We must speak out and raise our voice and oppose those who are all selfish and cruel. As we celebrate the joy of liberation, all forms of oppression we must condemn. And as we conclude this celebration, we say next year in Jerusalem. And as we conclude this celebration, we say Shalom in Jerusalem.
I want to thank Cantor Andy for doing such a great job of setting my words to music. And now we're going to continue with the Torah reading. I'm going to call upon someone who has been serving and working and sharing her love with L'Dor Va-Dor for many, many years. We're very grateful to all she does. And so it's appropriate for her to introduce the Torah with the blessing before the Torah, Suzanne Burstein.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach L'olam Va'ed.
Baruch Adonai Hamvorach L'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai Eloheinu Melech Haolam Asher Bahar Banu Mikol Ha'amim V'natan Lanu Et Torato. Baruch Atah Adonai Noten HaTorah.
Amen. Well, we're skipping around in the Torah a little bit, moving from Leviticus back to Exodus. We go back in time and on this holiday of Passover. And so it's appropriate we're going back in the Torah from Leviticus back to Exodus. And we're going to read a little snippet from the exciting, thrilling saga of the Exodus. As my father used to say about some of these legends and stories, this never actually happened as described in the Torah, but it's all true. So the story of Jewish persecution, of Jewish slavery in Egypt, the story of people who knew not Joseph, who forgot about all the nice things and all the positive things Jews did and turned on us. These are all true stories, even though they may be surrounded by legend and mythology, and some of which you will hear about right now. Of course, there are Jews who believe all of this literally. They're perfectly welcome to entertain such a belief, and they're perfectly welcome to join with us at L'Dor Va-Dor. I don't share that view, and science doesn't either, and so I will espouse that point of view, but we welcome in L'Dor Va-Dor Jews of all backgrounds, because it's essential that we all work together and we all celebrate together under one roof. Vayomer Adonai Moshe, and God said to Moses, Nateh yadecha al hashamayim, and he said, extend your hands up towards the heavens. And there shall be darkness over the land of Egypt. And there will be a thick darkness, a palpable darkness. Vayet Moshe et yado al shamayim. Moses extended his arms up towards the heavens. Vayehi choshech afela b'chol eretz Mitzrayim. And there was a darkness, a thick darkness over the whole land of Egypt. Shaloshet yamim, for 3 days. Lo ra'u ish et achiv. A person could not even see his brother. And this has spiritual implications also. What it means is that darkness was not just physical in Egypt. It was a darkness of the human soul which couldn't even allow them to see that the Jewish people were indeed their brothers. They were not able to see that because they were in moral darkness. V'lo kamu ish mitachtav shaloshet yamim. And people were afraid to come out of their habitations for 3 days because they couldn't see a darn thing. V'lechol b'nei Yisrael haya or b'mishlotam. But for the people of Israel, they were able to see light. And that also has mythological, philosophical implications that when the world is in darkness, the Jews are still the people of light. And we don't imitate our surroundings, we try to enlighten them. Vayikra Pharaoh el Moshe vayomer lechu avdu et Adonai. And Pharaoh was getting exasperated and saying, get out of here, go, and go worship your God. Raksonachem uvkorchem yutzag gam tapachem yelech imachem. And he said, and Pharaoh said, but you cannot take your flocks and your livestock or your children with you. Vayomer Moshe gam ota titen b'yadenu uv'chayim v'alot v'asinu l'Adonai Eloheinu. Moses, no, I don't think so. If we're going out, we're taking everyone with us. V'gam miknenu yelech imanu lo tisha'er parsa ki mimenu nikach la'avod et Adonai Eloheinu. No, we're taking our livestock and we're taking our cattle because we have to make sacrifices to God. They're all going to come with us. It reminds me very much of Zelensky and Putin. Putin saying, okay, give it up, surrender. And he's saying, no, I don't think so. And Pharaoh's like, don't you realize we're stronger than you are? And Zelensky's saying, well, we'll find out. We need to bring everything with us, the livestock with us, in order to properly worship God. God then hardened Pharaoh's heart, and he could not bring himself to let them go. Vayomer lo Pharaoh lech me'alai yishamer lecha et tosefra ot panai ki vayom ra'itecha panai tamut. And Pharaoh was exasperated, and he said to Moses, get out of here, but let me tell you something. The next time you see my face, it'll be a time of death. Vayomer Moshe, ken dibota lo sef od ra'ot panecha. And Moses, who apparently knew what was going to happen, said, you're right. Next time I see you, there will be death at your doorstep. And then he departed. The blessing after the Torah.
Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher natan lanu Torah emet v'hayei olam natan b'tohenu. Baruch atah Adonai noten haTorah.
Amen.
Happy Passover.
Thank you for reciting the blessing so beautifully. And just want to share with you a little message from the Sedra. My father used to tell the story about this little old Jewish man who was reading a Yiddish newspaper on a park bench back in old Russia, late 1800s. And the Russian police officer comes over and says, why are you reading that newspaper in that strange language? He says, this is the language of Yiddish. This is the language that will be spoken in heaven. And the police officer says, yeah, and what'll happen if you go to hell? He says, I already speak Russian. So the story reminds us of what is going on today over in the land of Russia, which coincidentally means evil in Hebrew. We must never forget that the people of Russia are not evil, but they've allowed themselves to be governed by a very, very evil leader who's doing horrible things in their name. And sadly, they, like the people of Egypt, don't rise up against their Pharaoh. And because of that, they are not only inflicting harm on others, but like Pharaoh, they're also bringing about their own destruction. The destruction comes about because people refuse to see that others are their brothers, that the Jewish people, as in Egypt, were actually their brothers, that the people of Ukraine speak a very similar language. Ukrainian and Russian is very similar, and their cultures are very similar. They emerge from the same cultural milieu. And there are many Russian-speaking people in Ukraine, but they don't seem to be able to see that over there in Russia, just like the people of Egypt couldn't see the kinship with the Jews. Very easy for us to look over there and say how horrible it is. Look what these people are doing. But we as Jews are called upon to look inside of ourselves and to see, is there's a little bit of Pharaoh in us? Do we sometimes treat people as objects, as the Egyptians did to the Jews, treating us as slaves? Do we sometimes just view other people as what we can gain from them or how they can benefit us in some way, instead of recognizing their uniqueness, their holiness, their specialness? Are we responsible for that? Do we also see each other as the other? My friends, there is a disease, an illness, a plague, even more insidious, more horrible than the coronavirus. It's the plague of partisanship. It's the plague of seeing people as the other, which is afflicted and affected and infected not only America, but also the Jewish people. We separate ourselves one from the other based on things that are so trivial, like what your political philosophy might be, or how you interpret Jewish scripture, or how you envision the power that created everything. We have different opinions on that, and because of that, we divide up, we set ourselves against each other, we declare the other the enemy, and we see them as an object of derision, an object of hate. My friends, how is it even possible for Jewish people to spread unity to others when we fight amongst ourselves? How can we even expect that we would be a source of harmony and of love to others when the Jewish people are fighting among ourselves? Do we really take our mission seriously? If we did, we would consider this partisanship to be very unhealthy and unholy and very detrimental to our people. You know, in the realm of science, many scientists have different theories about different scientific issues. When it came to evolution, Darwin envisioned that it was all very, very gradual. And there were others who said, no, it's not gradual. There's certain times where great changes happen, and then there's a leveling off. They call that punctuated equilibrium. They all believe kind of the same thing, but in different ways. We're all Jews. We all believe that we have a special calling. We all believe that we should seek love and harmony and peace. We may have different opinions about it, and we may approach it in different ways. But why is it that we feel the need to argue and to fight and not to talk to each other, even pitting families against families? Why do we even allow this to happen? My friends, I performed a Passover Seder last night, very upscale community. And afterwards, I was going around to the different tables, And one very, very traditional Jew took great umbrage at me, was very angry at me, and said, "You didn't read all the traditions. Why didn't you do all the various traditions?" I said, "Well, I am limited by the caterer and how much time I have." And there's a lot of different Jews here, and they all have different ways of celebrating. Oh my goodness, she was so angry and so hostile and so upset. And I'm thinking, is this what Judaism is bringing out in people? An anger and a hostility and an intolerance? My friends, the plagues of intolerance, of arrogance, of intransigence is permeating and infiltrating our people. And I hope on this Passover that we can pass over from that way of thinking to a way that's more harmonious. Let us really cherish our Jewish heritage. Let us feel how fortunate we are. And let us take it seriously that in a world of darkness, we should spread light. We do have the vaccine against arrogance and intolerance. It's the vaccine of love. That vaccine is free, available to all, and has no known adverse side effects. Let us take that vaccine. Let us share that vaccine. Let us take this holiday of Passover seriously. And let us liberate ourselves from old ways of thinking that separate ourselves from others. And let us embark on the greatest journey of all. The journey not only across a desert, but a journey from the person that we are today to the person that we could be tomorrow if we used our full potential, and to the people that the Jewish people are today, to the blessing to mankind that we could become if we used our full potential and worked together as one. Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach. We are now going to have an offering called Lifespan from Andy.
What is my lifespan? I'm like a man gone out of Egypt. Red Sea parts, I cross on dry land. Two walls of water on my right and on my left hand. Pharaoh's army, his horsemen behind me, before me the desert, I cross on dry land, perhaps the promised land too. That is my lifespan. Oh.
We're going to continue now with the Aleinu.
Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שלא עשנו כגויי הארצות, ולא שמנו כמשפחות האדמה, שלא שם חלקנו כהן, וגורלנו ככל המונם, ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים, לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא. ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ, ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד, ושמו אחד.
We now have the merger poem. Andy, are you going to sing this, or are we going to recite this?
I think we're going to read this responsively, so if you'd like
to...
yeah.
And then all that has divided us will merge, and then compassion will be wedded to power, and then softness will come to a world that is harsh and unkind.
And then both men and women will be gentle, and both women and men will be strong.
And then no person will be subject to another's will.
And then all will be so very rich and free.
And then the greed of some will give way to the needs of many, and then all will share equally in the earth's abundance. Then all will care for the sick and the weak and the old, and then all will nourish the young. Then all will cherish life's creatures, and then all will live in harmony with each other on the earth. And then the people of the world will unite to boycott every single product of Russia and to drive them into economic bankruptcy, just as their leader is driving them into moral bankruptcy. And then we will see peace in that part of the world.
And then everywhere will be called Eden once again.
Now we continue with the Kaddish. The Kaddish, like the Halachma Anya that we recited before, is written in Aramaic. And the Kaddish, which is associated with death, doesn't mention death, but rather debt. The debt of gratitude that we owe for the incredible phenomena, the countless miracles that go on every day that allow life to continue. We read the names of those who have recently been taken from us: Cheryl Ehrlich, Fran Grossman, Sherry Hyman, Richard Kahn, David Levine, Jane Rosenblum, Elaine Silver, Ruthie Winehouse, and those fighting in Ukraine, not only on the Ukrainian side, but also on the Russian side. And we also mention the names of those, the anniversary of whose departure occurs these days: Richard Allen, Grace Bergman, Arthur Coleman, Jerome Dater, Albert Davis, Claire Garston, Ethel Golub, Irving Golub, Bernard Harrison, Sanford Hirsch, Charles Hyman, Louis Jandorf, Morris Kahn, Marcia Gitterman Kaiserman, Bernice Kesslin, Max Kornblue, Rose Kupperschmidt, Albert Lustig, Lillian Marks, Sarah Melton, Fred Muller, Marion Newman, John O'Brien, Dr. Max Pensack, Bertha Pilch, Marion Schatzer, Cinda Shapiro, Sarah Silverman, Hattie Willens, and Leo Zicklin. If there's anyone else that you'd like to mention, please let us know. Otherwise, we will continue with the Ose Shalom.
The Kaddish, Rabbi.
Let us read the Kaddish. Yiskadav Yiskadash Shemei Rabbah, V'yomad Yivrach Chosei, V'yonich Chosei, V'chayachon V'yomechon, V'chayeh L'chol Beis Yisrael, V'agalav Yizman Kariv Yimru Amen. Yehi Shemei Rabbah Mivarach L'olam Omei Omaya, Yisbarach V'yistabach V'yispoar V'yisfamam V'yisnaseh, V'yisadar V'yisalev V'yisalal Shemei Kudashah Berichu, Le'elam Min Kol Birchasa V'shilasa, Tushbechasa V'nechamasa, Damichon B'yomah V'yimru Amen. Yehi Shlama Rabba Min Shmaya V'chayim Aleinu V'yokol Yisrael V'yimru Amen. Oseh Shalom B'mromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu V'yokol Yisrael V'yimru Amen.
Oseh Shalom B'mromav, Hu Yaseh Shalom Aleinu Ve'al kol Yisrael Ve'imru Amen. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al kol Yisrael. Yaseh Shalom, Yaseh Shalom, Shalom Aleinu Ve'al kol Yisrael. Ve'imru Amen.
I'd like to offer a final benediction for everyone. I want to thank you all for joining us in the celebration of Shabbat and of Pesach. I know that you could tune in to services all over the world on the internet, but you chose to be with us. You chose to join with us in sharing a rational approach to religion, which is really our greatest hope for achieving peace in the world. Let us hope that all people will join in celebrating the use of reason, the use of science, of learning, of ideals of hope and peace, and find a way to merge them together, as we read from the merger prayer, so that we can use Judaism, working together as one, in order to build bridges of understanding and to knock down walls of separation, and so that we can cross this desert of lack of spirituality and enter the promised land. Not only the promised land of a Jewish state, but the promised land of a Jewish state of mind, which believes that peace and love and joy throughout the world are attainable, and that we will find the way to live in harmony with all living things. Shabbat Shalom, Chag Sameach. And now we have announcements.
Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach Pesach to you all. I'm Sharon Leibovitz, and it is my pleasure to represent Congregation L'Dor Va-Dor. This Monday evening, April 18th at 7 p.m., we'll have our Parson to Parson Controversial Issues Forum with Rabbi Barry Silver and Pastor Fritz Optenkamp speaking about hot current events and more. We invite you to join us on Zoom. On Tuesday evening, April 19th at 7 p.m., we have Touch of Torah with Rabbi Barry giving us an insight into the Torah reading for the upcoming Shabbat. And on Tuesday, April 26th at 7 p.m., we have Rabbi Barry Silver and Andy Susman with us, Andy bringing a touch of music to our Touch of Torah learning. We thank you for that, and that's on Zoom as well. On Sunday, April 24th, at 3 p.m., we have on Zoom our Songs of Passover in Israel with Rabbi Barry Silver and Cantor Carol Garrett. We hope you'll join in and sing along with us and have some fun for about an hour. On Wednesday, April 27th at 7 p.m., we will honor Yom HaShoah, Holocaust Remembrance Day. We'll have our special program on Zoom with guest child Holocaust survivor Helen Daniel and Rabbi Barry Silver. We'll light 6 candles in honor of the 6 million plus that were lost during the Holocaust, and it'll be a very memorable service. We hope you'll join in. Our upcoming Shabbats next Friday evening will be in person at the Carlisle Palm Beach, 450 East Ocean Avenue in Lantana, Friday, April 22nd at 7 p.m. The following Friday, April 29th at 7:30 p.m. will be in person at the Mariposa, which is at 9130 Hypoluxo Road on the corner of Hypoluxo and Lyons. Our in-person services are also available on Zoom and YouTube. And stick around this morning for after our service. We'll have a brief Zoom and schmooze and hopefully be able to say hi to one and all. Look at our website, ledorvador.org, for our calendar and all our updates, our Congregation L'Dor Va-Dor YouTube channel, our Congregation L'Dor Va-Dor Facebook page. Share us with a friend and family. We love to have more people come to L'Dor Va-Dor. And with that, I'd like to invite Andy back to...
I just want to supplement the announcements if I could. We're going to have on May 1, we'll have the celebration of life for my mom. Should be a really joyous event, some good music in her honor. We haven't figured out exactly what time it will be, but it looks like it's going to be May 1. And we're going to have it zoomed out there so you can watch either way, either be there in person or by Zoom. And we're also planning on doing a larger celebration of her life later on this year, probably towards the end of summer, where we're also going to be celebrating the 25th anniversary or the silver anniversary of L'Dor Va-Dor. So we'll be keeping you informed about that. Please make sure that you check out our website and our information. I do want to thank Sharon Leibovitz and Suzanne Burstein for doing a great job of keeping us up with the times and putting us on the internet in various fashions. And you might wonder, why are we meeting at the Mariposa? How was that place chosen? Very simple. Mariposa means butterfly. A butterfly represents a creature that is in a cocoon and shut off in darkness for a long time, and then it reemerges in a more beautiful form. And so we have been cut off with this pandemic for a couple of years now. We've been shut and isolated, but we're going to emerge in an even more beautiful form, all meeting together at La Mariposa. I hope that you will join us there and also in all of our events. And now we're going to share a beautiful song from Israel about next year is going to be better. How is it going to be better in Israel? What do they consider an improvement? Basically, the song is just saying kids are going to be playing out on the street. We'll be having a good time and we'll be living life as normal people without having to worry about violence and war. We wish this for Israel and we wish this for Ukraine as well. Slava Ukraina, Heroim Slava. Glory to Ukraine and to the heroes. Take it away, Cantor Andy.
בשנה הבאה נשב במרפסת ונספור ציפורים נודדות. ילדים בחופשה ישחקו תופסת בין הבית לבין השדות. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. Soon the day will arrive when we will be together, and no longer will we live in fear. And the children will smile without wondering whether on that day dark clouds will appear. Wait and see what a world there can be if we share, if we care, you and me. Wait and see what a world there can be if we share, if we care, you and me. Some have dreamed, some have died to make a bright tomorrow, and their vision remains in our hearts. Now the torch must be passed, with hope and not with sorrow, and a promise to make a new start. עוד תראה כמה טוב יהיה בשנה הבאה. Wait and see what a world there can be if we share, if we care, you and me.
מה נשתנה הלילה הזה? מי כמוך נדע בקודש? מה נשתנה הלילה? It seems like we'll never be done. There's more to clean than can ever be cleaned. Grab a candle and search for the crumbs. When the Seder table the sky. At the table we'll gather around the cedar tonight. Passover retold with our friends of old, thanking God above, and the cedar blade helps us.